Pereira! Israel, the last style bender, Adesanya!
Alex Poatan and Israel Adesanya's rivalry is almost a decade long. They fought more than 3 times in 2 different sports. In the encounters between them we witnessed super exciting fights, epic comebacks, and brutal knockouts for both sides. They both have great charisma and a large legion of fans. Both Pereira and Adesanya are legends in the world of fighting, the Nigerian for being one of the most dominant champions in recent UFC history, with 5 belt defenses, and he is one of the biggest stars MMA has ever had in its history, and the Brazilian for being the first double champion in Glory Kickboxing, and also for becoming the 9th fighter to be champion of 2 divisions in the UFC. Despite being 3-1 for the Brazilian on the scoreboard, all of Pereira's victories over Adesanya were extremely difficult victories, and the victory that Izzy has over the Brazilian was a very difficult one too. Every time these 2 striking legends step into the ring or octagon to face each other, it is certain that there will be a thrilling and very exciting war, making this rivalry the most intense ever in combat sports history. First we will get to know the fighters involved better. Israel Adesanya was born in Nigeria and moved to New Zealand with his family when he was a child. He fell in love with fighting from an early age. He made his debut in professional kickboxing in 2010, at the age of 20, having an impressive record of 75 wins and 5 losses in kickboxing. Later he decided to pursue a career in MMA. In 2018 he signed with the UFC. A year later Adesanya became the UFC middleweight champion. He had several title defenses and became one of the greatest fighters in the history of his division, and also one of the highest paid athletes in the history of MMA. Adesanya, just like every great fighter and every great champion, he also had his rival. His opponent is none other than Alex Pereira, aka Alex Poatan, the Brazilian Indian who became the kryptonite of the Nigerian's career. Alex comes from a very humble background, starting to work in a tire shop at the age of 12. At a very young age, he also helped his father as a bricklayer's assistant. Before he turned 18 he had discovered alcohol, and ended up becoming an alcoholic. In order to overcome this addiction he decided to start practicing martial arts. At the age of 21 he had his first kickboxing class. With little time in kickboxing he was already able to beat people who had been practicing this martial art for much longer than him, and it became clear that he was different and had the potential to go far. He decided to leave his life as an alcoholic behind and adopted the nickname Poatan, which means stone hands or hard hands in the Tupi-Guarani language. He adopted this nickname as a tribute to his indigenous roots. Just like Adesanya, Pereira was doing very well in kickboxing. Since they were competing in the same era, in the same weight division and in the same sport, it was only a matter of time until they finally face each other. On April 2, 2016, they fought for the first time. This fight took place in China. At the time both fighters were unknown, and the fight was not even on the main card. The first fight between them ended in a controversial way. The judges awarded Poatan the victory. Many fans, experts, and Adesanya himself disagree with the result of that fight to this day. Those involved in this fight didn't know it, but this was the beginning of the greatest rivalry in the history of combat sports.